Hey guys, what's up? Today we're talking about scripts and where to draw the lines between them, but this topic doesn't lend itself well to a proper intro, so let's just go. So I'm pretty sure we all know what a script is in this context. It's the writing system that a language uses. English, Spanish, Polish, Hungarian, and many others use variations of the Latin alphabet. Russian, Tatar, and Mongolian, for now, use the Cyrillic alphabet. Arabic and Persian use the Arabic abjad, sometimes called the Perso-Arabic script in Persian context, and so on. And while the terms like alphabet and abjad aren't primarily what we're talking about here, the 5 types of writing systems are kind of important to understand and will come up again later, so just in case, here's a rundown. An alphabet treats consonants and vowels equally, having full letters for both. An abjad writes only consonants, although these days you're far more likely to see an impure abjad, which also sometimes uses consonant letters to fill in for vowels, especially long ones. Meanwhile, an abugida has consonant letters as bases, but adds appendages to those letters for the vowel after it. They're also sometimes called alpha syllabaries, but don't get them confused with just syllabaries, which use an individual character for each syllable. There, the characters for syllables starting with the same consonant have no visual connection to each other. And finally, logographies are, well, Chinese, and each of those characters represents a concept or word rather than sounds. So we all grow up learning to tell the difference between different scripts like Latin, Cyrillic, Greek, Devanagari, etc. And it seemed pretty straightforward to me to tell when languages used the same or different scripts. If I can use my own characters to write another language, maybe with a few tweaks, then we use the same script, and if not, then those are different scripts, right? Well, I used to think that until I studied Aramaic last year. I'd been able to speak Hebrew fluently for a long time before then, and I knew what the modern Aramaic script looks like and that I couldn't read the letters without intentionally learning them, so case closed. Aramaic is a different script than Hebrew. But as it turns out, it's not that simple. One thing that was very apparent from the beginning was that Hebrew and Aramaic use the exact same set of 22 letters, with mostly the same set of sounds represented as well, directly from the 22 letters of Phoenician, so we can lump the OG abjad in here as well. Between Hebrew and Aramaic, though, they actually both have plosive spirantization, which gives mutual familiarity to both of the scripts. It doesn't always work the same between the languages, like how the fricative variant of bet is v in Hebrew and w in Aramaic, but every language and language family has sound differences like that. In fact, Ormian Aramaic has v in that place, but either way, the letters match perfectly onto each other with a one-to-one correspondence. The Hebrew script can be used to write Aramaic, and it very often is for certain prayers. In fact, the Hebrew script was actually first the Aramaic script before Hebrew started using it as well, but then Aramaic drifted away into its modern script. The same can just as easily be done in reverse, writing Hebrew in the Aramaic abjad. These two definitely don't behave like different scripts with relation to each other. For an exercise, here we have the Latin script. Knowing that, what would you call this? That's also the Latin script? Interesting. Yeah, in my mind at least, maybe the Aramaic and Hebrew scripts could better be called typefaces? I mean, they're different stylistic representations of the same set of letters. Sounds like a typeface to me. For that matter, Phoenician, which was also Paleo-Hebrew, and the other 2 Aramaic scripts, as they're called, also fit under this umbrella of 22-letter abjads from the Levant. Any of them can write any language that uses one of the scripts in the same way that I can write English like this, or this. Taking this concept to its logical extreme, we can look at Serbian a bit with its so-called 2 scripts that both equally represent the language. All the letters in the versions of the Latin and Cyrillic alphabets used to represent Serbian have exact analogs in the other script, with the slight exception of the 3 digraphs in the Latin script, but that shouldn't stop us. I mean, the lowercase I is in 2 pieces and we consider that one letter, and that's all letters really are, shapes. Therefore, we can say that Serbian doesn't use 2 scripts, it just uses one script that has 2 very distinct typefaces, especially if we want to ignore history. This makes perfect logical sense. In case you're wondering why I'm not calling them fonts, that's because typefaces are the stylistic models, while font refers more to size and format if we're being technical. But we can take this very far in the other direction as well. Check out this line of text from German, which uses the Latin alphabet. Wait, what's that? This can't be the Latin alphabet. That letter isn't from Latin. Here we have another sample of text which also shares most of its letters with Latin, but apparently the letters that aren't shared are enough to make this a different script, so the limit on unrecognizable characters is clearly arbitrary. Obviously, I'm just doing all this to prove a point. Greek looks considerably distinct from Latin when they use lowercase in a normal fashion. So for our final point of ridiculousness, circling back to the types of writing systems defined earlier, Hebrew, as we've been over, is written with an abjad. Unrelatedly, Yiddish is written with an alphabet. So since those languages use different script types, clearly they use different scripts. Wait, what do you mean they use the same script? So these languages don't even fall into the same broad category of writing systems, but they use the same basic set of letters, so they use the same script? Okay. I guess. Although the obvious problem with my challenge here is that no two languages ever use their shared script exactly the same way. Individual letters may have different sounds and rules in order to best serve their spoken language, so if we went down that slippery slope, we'd have to say that no languages ever share a script. So all the confusion and sarcasm aside, what actually makes scripts the same or different? It's honestly pretty similar to languages. There's the baseline requirement of mutual intelligibility, although here it's with letter recognition rather than understanding speech. Generally with scripts, if the majority of the characters used in a constant typeface are the same shape, they'll be called the same script, but if it just looks like a bunch of squiggles, it's different. This framework obviously used to be harder to apply back before printing presses when individual people's handwriting would change over time, resulting in the wide assortment of scripts we have today, including all those scripts or typefaces between Hebrew, Phoenician, and the Aramaic varieties as mentioned earlier. Especially if you speak a language from South Asia, I'd be interested to know if you can recognize the letters from the scripts surrounding your own, but everyone else is welcome to comment about that as well. But in the end, scripts are distinguished mostly by whether people call them their own script or not. So through all the caveats about Hebrew and Aramaic having the same set of letters and different typefaces, Serbian having two different alphabets that work exactly the same, German using the Latin alphabet with a unique, weird-looking extra letter, and Hebrew and Yiddish using the same letters in entirely different writing systems, the main way we decide if two orthographic systems of languages count as the same or different scripts is all based on whether we think they do. So everything is in the eye of the beholder, a script is just a typeface with an army and a navy, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.